Hello, Amr. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So first, let's start with your journey. Who's Almir Tshoulan? Can you share your story and what shaped your path to becoming an expert in Islamic finance and a figure in
Well,
Islamic business?
well, it actually happened accidentally. I was mostly interested in technology and engineering, sort of computer science and engineering side of things. But as you grow up and you look at the world around you, the things that were changing, I got interested in the economy and finance because I realized that these businesses are to large degree shaping the world that we have around ourselves. And so whenever you see any kind of a business or a small bakery or a big large corporation, there is a bank, there is finance behind it, and that is a big part of the success of these businesses. So I was interested how things happen, what makes what makes something successful, and how things work in the real world. I grew up in Bosnia, moved to Australia after the war in Bosnia that happened. And as I started looking around myself, I wanted to figure out how things work in society. And I saw that finance is involved in everything. And so this is what I started more and more focusing to learn what are some of the specifically lessons we can learn and apply, and also as we look at Islamic values, principles, how these things can transform and add value to what we are doing, and what are the lessons we can learn. And so more I digged into it, I was more and more amazed to see the principles and the reasons and the wisdom. And so that sort of captivated me, to be honest, to go on that journey of learning and understanding.
I see. And that mostly started back in your hometown, Bosnia, or you began this journey in Australia?
Well, when I was in Bosnia, it was mostly my life was about just your daily things. You play some sport, you do your school activities, and then I was into technology, and I loved computer science. I would join certain businesses even as in high school to do like internship and
Mm.
open computers, pieces, parts. My father used to work in one of these big corporations that used to assemble computers back in those days, and for me that was a very fascinating world of engineering, and even I won a scholarship in coding and so on. So this was what I was thinking, that I would be definitely doing something along those lines. But as you move the country after the war and you start new life, you get interested in different things, and I think the common thing here is understanding how something works. And as an engineer, you want to understand how to solve certain problems. But I think when you look at the economy and the bigger picture, you start looking at at the country level, or what incentives we put in, and how does the entire industry or entire economy gets transformed to solve particular problems, maybe at more complex level. So at the root of it is solving some kind of a problem. Rather than machines, now I'm looking at more like societal level. How do we
A broader
solve the
level.
same problem?
Mm. Okay, okay, nice. Um, I see that you have the platform Muslim Money Matters. What inspired you to launch it, and was there a specific moment or challenge that prompted you to launch the platform?
Well, when you look at a lot of Muslim countries and the halal economy, I travel a lot, and I realize that most of our countries are lacking on production side. So they are not producing things, even for the halal economy. They are mostly consuming what somebody else is making. And that goes for physical products, but goes also to our ideas. Ideas we are consuming. How do we manage economy? How do we manage recession, inflation, and so on? And so somebody else is telling us this should be a monetary policy. This is what you should be doing as a country. And so my travel was focused on looking at the countries and the businesses and even the personal level. How do actually Islamic teaching help us navigate these challenges that we are facing? In the moving society, in economy that is changing, so economy that used to happen before 5 years ago, before COVID, and economy now, they are different economies. Same rules don't work. So you have different strategies, different environment, and then you have your own principles. Now, most of our governments or businesses, I don't want to say a blanket statement, but not necessarily that most of them see strategically what the new leadership should look like in economy. And sometimes we get lost. So the reason for the platform is, in this day and age, to demonstrate for the Muslims what does really economic leadership looks like in today's day and age. Is economic leadership about independence, creating the conditions where you can be self-sufficient, produce what you consume, or is economic leadership simply to consume what others are making, borrow more money, and just have that sort of consumer-driven economy purely, which is where we are at the moment now. So obviously, in the challenges that we have, producing things is the main challenge. Being independent is a strategic need, and we see that in terms of how economy changed, where very few countries are now producing most of what everybody else is consuming. And so this presents a challenge, whether that is in terms of health crisis, like we had pandemic, where few countries were able to produce medical supplies for the rest of the world, or whether it's during the inflation, where you simply don't have access, or you cannot produce what you need, whether it's a technology or anything else. So this made a lot of countries to start reconsidering how we are running our economy. What is the economy? Is economy just something that we measure through some indicators, or is economy something that is much more strategic for us? Meaning that economy is something that solves our core needs for long term, and it doesn't endangers our way of life, which is why I often talk about thinking about economy as what can you do as a society? Can you feed your people? You cannot. Okay, well, you don't have economy. So simple things, can you do that? And that's why you will see in most of the countries, you have countries where you cannot feed the people, or you cannot provide electricity, healthcare, defense. Like, well, you don't have a country, you don't have economy if you cannot do that. If you can do that, and you can continue developing that and put a strategies to inspire them, then we have something. And so if you are a policy maker or a business person, you want to start thinking more along those lines, not just the lines of consuming something that is already made for you and borrowing and just sort of playing on what we call demand side or consumer side of economy. So these are some of the thoughts that I keep in mind as I travel and observe what's going on.
Thank you. That's very enlightening. So, from what I hear, are you in favor of Muslim countries to eliminate central banks of their countries and have major regulatory reforms, and also how they will encourage entrepreneurship and how will they get capital?
Central bank currency, this is a big issue. I mean, I wouldn't say that that's something that is on the table at the moment. You know, how do you do that? It's a big. I think has become a shortcut to a solution. You know, people have this idea that eliminate this fiat money or eliminate central bank and things will solve. I think this is because a lot of people think that it's about money. Who has money? Who doesn't have a money? Money in this equation is the least important bit. Okay, it's great if you have a money. If you know, like all of that is great. But you see, what makes great country, even great money, is what you can back it up with. Strong countries are strong countries because what they produce. Okay, every country could have, like a lot of people say, oh, but America has a central bank, and then they have interest rates, and then they can print money, and then they can control all of this. Yeah, and every other country can do exactly that. But why is Venezuela, with its own central bank interest rates and printing money, not America then? Because the idea is that America is making everything you are consuming. You see, everybody can print money. Me and you can print money. It's not about money. It's about what you are producing. Everybody is depending on your products. Your super chips, you know, your latest technology, the service we are using, from microfilm to internet to the laptop to this service. Everything we are using, somebody produced. That person is at the top of the food chain. So as long as certain countries keep producing what everybody is consuming, everything from them becomes valuable. Their money becomes more appealing. Their way of life is more interesting. That's what pop culture is. That's what captures. They attracts the talents. The talented people go to work for those companies, growing them, and they promote ideas, lifestyles. You understand? So this is how this works in reality. You know, the game is about what can you do. As I said, you know, it's not necessarily what kind of money I have. I mean, that comes a little bit later on when you build your economy and then you want to protect it. How do I then de-dollarize, for example, for a lot of countries which are not they don't have very strong currency? How do I protect myself about some of these things? But that comes down the road.
Interesting. Many entrepreneurs struggle with finding their unique niche. How do you identify the gap that Muslim money matters and your personal brand fills?
So when you look at what you want to do, you should start really looking by, you know, what is my interest, something that I already have some idea about. Don't just look for the problems to solve or a hole to fill, you know. Look at something, you know, this is my interest, you know, what do I notice is missing? What do I already know or have a genuine interest? You know, because it has to be also what are you genuinely interested in? And also something that is about your life, something connected to you. Then it's like almost opposite of how most of the business people would start their business. They would think about, can I make money from this? It's almost like the best way to think about starting business is not about making money. You think about it, if I had all of the money in the world, what would I do? What would I be focusing on? So then it becomes about a real need, real solving something, real skill, real benefit. The money comes when you solve that problem in society, that people reward you with their money. You know, so the money is just a measurement. Did you succeed in solving or benefiting other people? Money is just an indicator that you can benefit others. That's what money it is. Because the people give you money for the value you have created that they want. So when you think in terms of the money, you should be thinking in terms of value that you are giving to others. For example, if you think about, I don't know, Tesla, Elon Musk, okay? Why is his company so valuable? It's not that he has money, but the value he provides to his customers is so much that they even want to buy not just the products from Tesla, but they want to buy a company itself. And so, because there is such a demand for the value they provide, the products are sold, he makes money from that, and the company value goes up as well. But he's targeting what? Creating a value for his shareholders or the customers. So that's the name of the game. Finding something that you can dedicate yourself, like a sport. Which sport you're gonna go for? Something that you can really enjoy, dedicate, see yourself doing for a long time. And then you get great in that sport. That's same thing. Then with that comes, can I monetize this? Can this be something? Or is this just a hobby, you know?
I see.
So it's a similar kind of way. But don't do drastic changes, you know? Something go within what you are already familiar, what you can learn, what you can understand, something maybe specific to your environment. You live in this area, there is a lot of agricultural business. Okay, see what you can do about that. Unless you have some great idea, nobody has. But you know, you can always improve something and try to improve something that is already around you. Don't jump over. You know, you live again in agricultural area and you want to do mining. Don't worry about mining. There is no mines around you. You're not going to do mining. You know, or if you study, I don't know, you study coding and you want to write a book. You know, like focus on what you already have. Don't just also jump up and down too much. Focus on something. Don't easily give up. Connect yourself with the people there, and try to do something with that. Great story that I recently watched. The documentary was a Turkish engineer called Seljuk Bayraktar, and if you go on Bayraktar YouTube,
the Turkish drone, yeah.
He made a couple of documentaries about him. One of the last one, I think, few months back, they show his path where his father was engineered, and he was working on these what do you call it? Little airplanes, drones. And he was working, and then his son started working and thinking, and the whole of his life, then he went to do his degree in that. And he could have done anything he wanted, but he focused on the family business, doing that. Now, he is producing the best drones in the world. In fact, just 2 days ago, his company acquired Italian aero defense company that is making the planes.
Impressive.
Which is 100 years old Italian company that is making private planes. So his company is now in billions of dollars. The people want to work for him. So he created a company that is so important strategically for the country. It is cutting edge technology. People want to work for it. It's making a lot of money now, profit. Why? Because he, passion of his father, then his own passion, then building, then the team, they have a mission to do it, and the love. And why he's doing that? Because when he was young, his father put him in the airplane. He loved flying these airplanes. And he connected this passion with this. So, you know,
So the main thing is for you to develop a skill rather than just following.
You have to develop some skills. You have to have some skills. You can't just bluff. You see a
can't
problem.
say I'm going to develop a tech company like Birktar, but you have no knowledge of engineering or coding.
Very difficult. I mean, you could, if you have a friend like Steve Jobs, they say he was like more the marketing, but he was also technically savvy. Like Wozniak was more technically, let's say. But you have to have idea. You have to have a sense. So sometimes can work if you have a partner who is, but you have to have understanding. If you are building technology company, you can't just be marketing guy. It's not going to work. You have to have a sense of the core business, what you are doing. I mean, it could work for a company like Pepsi. Okay, like, you understand? You don't have to be maybe PhD in chemistry or something. You can just say, okay, you can go with your gut feeling. Maybe that's more like marketing business. But you're producing aircrafts like look at the Elon Musk. You have to be engineer to run SpaceX and these firms. So you, as a young person, want to have some skills, because your value, just like you think about economy, what you can do as a country, you think of yourself as economy. What can I do? What can I solve? Where is my value coming from? And so if you can solve these problems, then you become valuable. So you have now vision, you want to solve this, okay, then with your own hands you are solving directly that problem. You
So like
understand?
find the problem, solve it. Yeah.
Find the problem, solve it. You
get
need a
rewarded
skill, build your skills. And so your whole life become building the skills. So initially, like for example, if you look at Facebook, for example, Mark Zuckerberg, he was coding himself. Now, does he code and build it now like that? No, but that goes with time. You know, you put foundation and then you are looking at more strategic level, but you understand what's possible, what's happening. All right. So, so you build the skills that you need, and then for different time, those skills, as you grow, they will be more high level skills. So this is how it is, progress.
Impressive. Almir, what are your thoughts on the current state of the startup ecosystem in the Muslim and Arab world? Are there any particular regions or industries that do stand out?
I think lots of Muslims are realizing that a lot of our countries, they haven't had much in terms of the startup. Most of our economy became shopping centers where other people's products were sold, especially the Muslim countries. You go to the GCC area, we are not producing anything, we are just selling products that somebody else is making. And so that's in general Muslim countries, you know, even when we bring universities or education providers or anything, they are just selling us the brand name, university degrees and something. They are not educating us to do it with a passion to develop this ecosystem for startups and producing and so on. It's mainly just brand names and degrees that are overpriced, professors, you know, just there to lecture, and you finish and just a badge. But to create a real ecosystem where you are producing things, you need to have university that works with the industry and is creating doers, problem solvers. And so that sort of entrepreneurial, business-minded, you know, connecting university with the industry is very critical. That's why you go to some other countries. For example, look at what they do in Israel. Israel main university is the military. In the military, they learn everything. They learn about engineering, about technology, about finance, about tracking people, spying on people, you know, everything they learn in the military. And they apply it with real businesses. And so university, military, business, this all come together with money, and then they for real applying this. So they are learning and doing for the real life application of it, you know. So this is why I think in the Muslim countries, like, it's important that you have this, and I think great example is Turkey. This example that I was just sharing, you know, when this company started, Bayraktar, there were very few companies doing anything similar. Now, because of its success, you have hundreds of firms that are doing that, and you have main festivals, technology festivals, where the young kids go to see these things, to learn, to have a competition in universities, and then they connect with the real businesses. I think university is too much in the classroom in our countries. In the classroom, on the board, writing something.
Disconnected.
You have to be in the real world. You have to be in the company. It has to be driven by latest things are not at university. Latest things in the world is outside. You understand? And so be there, connect, even if you are a professor or researcher, go to the firm that is solving that problem commercially. Connect, work with these people. That's how you will be relevant as university degree, because most of university degrees these days are becoming so irrelevant. It's just a paper. Everybody know you have no skills and no relevance.
Yes.
So to make university degree or education relevant, you need to connect with real life. So people now know he didn't get this degree because ChatGPT solved his problems these days, but because he actually know how to solve something in real life. There is application of it. And so this is where the challenge of education is that it needs to be shown in the real life its own relevance. What are you solving? You have a food security problem. Okay, let's work immediately on the field. Let's do something. Let's solve that. How are we gonna do it? And so this is where I think education probably needs to move in, and connect yourself with entrepreneurship. That some percentage of our graduates must start their own businesses. So you educate somebody in technology or engineering or agriculture, any, let's say, STEM field or whatever, some of them need to start their own businesses that will employ these people. Change that, create your own Silicon Valley, education zones or industrial zones, techno zones, cities, where you have incentives, tax incentives, investments, and education from the top entrepreneurs who have done it, guiding these young people to start the companies. So you say, okay, I want to start 10,000 companies this year. All right, how do you do that? What do you need to change in your education that this year your country starts 10,000 new companies? I tell you that is not a big deal.
Funding is a big issue in our cultures here.
Well,
because we are mostly
you need an ecosystem. You need also ecosystem. Because, for example, in Turkey, because they are doing that, every year they have about 10,000 new companies that not only just as a new companies, but make a product and start exporting it. So they have maybe 50,000 companies every year starting, for 10,000 to be already commercially selling, new companies. So we are talking about hundreds of thousands of companies doing a business, exporting. You understand? Why? Because ecosystem starts developing where it becomes easy to start the company. You already have examples. Just like you have a professor, you have professors of business and who are professors and PhD in real life results. And you observe this. So you have certain cities that become so powerful that they value the real work so much that the culture drives business and movement and starting something.
In the case of Turkey, will you say that it's a cultural shift towards entrepreneurship, or it's a government initiative that started this movement of mass production?
Look, I mean, every country, it's a part of human nature that you want to do something, you want to solve problems. I would say government has a lot to play in terms of making it easy and business friendly to start a business, removing bureaucracy, red tape, unnecessary regulations for the sake of regulations. Regulations are important and all of that where they make sense. But in general, a lot of countries, just to open your business, you need 10 different forms and 25 years to catch everything. And then when you are in retirement, you open the business. You need to be able to open the business in a week, in 2 days. Make it online, make it just quick. Start a business. Everything quick, make it unnecessary. Don't make too much problems. And give incentives to the people who are starting or investing in these things. When you make your environment business friendly, then the people natural desire for this will kick in. It's just that government regulation often would push back against this instinct. And so if you don't have environment where you can exercise that, again, we go to sport analogy. Everybody enjoys sport, but give us some facilities to play sport. This is what the government should be doing. Build a stadium and we will fix the game. Don't worry. Everybody wants to play soccer. Just give us something. Don't make rules. Don't make barriers. And this is what we have seen in most of these societies. Like, for example, if you look at India and China, the way that they solved their problems from years of communism, meaning socialism, and centralization that was stifling business, was by opening some of it. That itself was responsible for lifting hundreds of millions of people out of the poverty, because it opened their eyes and opportunities to work hard and be rewarded, which they didn't have under socialism, where government was dictating everything, taking all of the profit. You couldn't own anything, couldn't run anything, couldn't decide anything, couldn't be rewarded for the sacrifice, couldn't take a risk on anything. And so people didn't want to do anything. If you take away all of the agency from person, risk and reward and ownership, and his owning decision, he's not going to do it. Why would I do something if... Imagine if we do this podcast or we run YouTube and government decide who will get how many likes. And everybody will get fair amount of likes. Everybody will get 25 likes no matter what video they make.
No incentive.
Who's going to make good video? He says, I spent 25 days on video one. This one makes 2 minutes and we all got 25 because that's fair. Equal. Everybody is equal. Nobody will make the video. You understand? Why? So these things don't work. And they actually punish the person who wants to do it. It's like one teacher in a school, to show this problem of socialism, one day after giving the test to the students, he said, you know what? Instead of giving you what you all deserve, I'll give you all average. Of everybody. Okay? So the average was the marks between 1 and 5. So back in these countries, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the number best. 5 is the best. 1 is you failed. So students were like, wow, great. The average was 4. Okay? And everybody was so happy. On average, we all get 4. What do you think next test happened?
Oh, everybody failed. No more incentive. Let others do the work. I'll just watch.
Exactly. The marks started going down, and then until everybody was hoping somebody else will study, they will get that average 4. You understand? But when you put it into the system, nobody wants to do the work. So people want individually. They work hard, they get their grades, it motivates them. So what the government should do, not try to fix the result, but say, okay, we will make it free and fair and regulated, so you're not going to be penalized unfairly. And then you let the people do it. Support what you can, but at the end of the day, you have to have a system where the reality of life rewards and punish people. Rewards the good idea, punish the bad idea. And let the people decide that amongst themselves. Don't push this on people. So this is when these countries decided to kind of open this, it created a lot of change. Of course, many of these countries don't have a perfect system. Capitalism is not perfect, or state capitalism that we see in China, but the freedom is very important component. Freedom. And we as a Muslim, we have also a value system that will enrich this freedom by providing good products. It's not going to be just a fake products, harmful products, but with your ethics and values, you will create beneficial products, quality products. Because another problem with this fast moving world is we have a lot of fake products, a lot of products that are not good, or not needed. And often these now systems are run in order to dominate. They are used as expansionary political weapon to dominate certain economies. So you sometimes see, whether it's from east or the west, you have platform businesses that are used for not just economic purposes. Like, for example, China is now trying to dominate, crush rivals with its, for example, e-commerce website that it is really pushing against Americas, like whether it's, they compete with Amazon or eBay or these kind of things with the Temu or Alibaba. They are purposely pushing these, subsidizing even the cars. Look at Chinese electric cars now being totally subsidized by government to make it more competitive. And so you have now between US and China this war. Who is subsidizing what? Because America is subsidizing now semiconductor business with a $50 billion incentives to get them there. China will do something. So there is that war that goes beyond economical now, war. So, but I would say we are yet at the beginning. So these are big games, but you focus on what's in front of you, focus on what you can do in the next 10 years. Don't think, oh, I can't do it, or I can do everything in a year. But, what can I do in 10 years, long term? It's things we need will take time to build. It's not going to be easy. So build a business, build yourself, and inshallah, you will have a good result for you and your country in future.
That's very enlightful, Almir. Thank you for sharing that. Last question. What resources, books, or mentors would you recommend someone just entering the entrepreneurship space?
Look, this is I would say these days, like you don't even need a lot of books, to be honest. Like you just get yourself ChatGPT, to be honest, and some of these AI, and you can have a conversation, honestly. Like one great tool of these AI is, and I was explaining this to some young people I was just talking. I said, these are your research assistant. These are the best research assistant. You can get them to summarize you get me top 100 books on business. It will give you. Give me summary of these books. It will give you a summary of each of these books. Give me the lesson for this. You can have entire conversation where you are extracting the knowledge. I have this scenario, this problem, this issue. So if you use even artificial intelligence as a research to enrich you with actionable information, it will give you these things. Then if you find yourself there are some books and ideas that resonate deeply from that list, then you can go. There are some classics. You can again ask, what are the classical books? What are the, and then you can start sort of pausing and going more deeply. But what you want in all of this is to focus on what is your skill and knowledge and problem you are. So sometimes it's not always about just having all of these books. Like, let's say, again, go back to the sport analogy. I want to have a great soccer. Like, all right, these are the books, these are the things, but you need to go to the people who play that sport, observe the game, practice, shoot, miss, repeat, basic moves. So then the books and other advices you will be able to accept more and more and more. A lot of advice that you might come across, you will not be able to digest, but it will be something maybe in 10 years useful, in 5 years. So at this moment, be very specific, ask questions, you have access to artificial intelligence. Then you go to the people who that could be your mentors. They don't have to be necessarily in that field, but they have maybe a bit more experience and knowledge in your family, in your friends. Volunteer in some charities, go to your local mosque, see people who do something. Just have a conversation. They don't have to be something huge, but they have some experience more than you. Discuss idea. You will get more deeper into these things. and then ask them for recommendation. And then let's say you want to run a physical store of something. Okay, somebody maybe already doing that. Discuss, talk, get interest, maybe apply for a job there, do a little bit that job, to understand how physical store run. And so whatever you do, like there is a way to access people, to learn. You have podcasts, you have books, you have artificial intelligence, and then, okay, let me give it a shot, give it a shot, what I need from the skills. And the human is like that. You can figure out a lot by yourself. Actually, most of these business people they follow their passion in particular product that they want. Like Bezos wanted to sell books, and then he focused himself on that. And then he discovered something that no one could teach him, because this is not in the books. What we are going to come across require intelligent, creative thinker. It's not going to be in the AI or in the books, because AI just is a copy machine of what everybody else taught. AI is just basically looking at, okay, you all agree on this, okay, this is it. It's just cut and paste of everybody's. Looks to you creative, but it's just cut and paste of what everybody is already thinking. It's a pattern recognition. So that's why AI is not creative. It's not going to be very creative. It will give you the shades that you might think are creative. But what you want to do is use it as a resource to pool the information, and then you build your own confidence and creativity to say, you know what, I actually think this. Let me try that. You understand? And so these are some of the ways that I would think and develop myself when it comes to facing those challenges around me.
Very enlightful. Almir, thank you for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge with us. That was phenomenal from you.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Welcome. Thank you. Any social accounts you would like people to get referred to? Websites?
I have a website, almirtshoolan.com. People can just Google the name and find a website or YouTube channel where I try to post some of the ideas and thoughts about the things I'm usually thinking about.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much.